Welcome to Leadership Unfiltered, the podcast where real leaders get real about what it takes to succeed in today's fast-paced corporate world. I'm Dr. Dayan Douse, founder and president of P.R.I.D.E Consulting, a human behavior and development company serving as an executive coach and facilitator, working with organizations to deliver practical ways to evolve teams, advance organizations, and transform cultures. I hold a PhD in organization and management with over 2 decades of leadership experience in Fortune 500 companies. And I'm best-selling co-author of the book, Nothing But Net. I'm joined by my co-host, Phillip Smith. Phillip is a seasoned technology executive with extensive experience leading large-scale engineering teams and driving digital transformation. Over his 25 years of leadership experience, he has held multiple roles from supervisor to vice president. His personal brand is coder by blood, architect by trade, and leader by choice. Every episode will deliver real-world strategies, unfiltered advice, and the tools you'll need to take your leadership to the next level. Let's get started.
Welcome. And today we are going to discuss coaching versus mentoring versus sponsorship. And those are 3 related but different things. And it's important as a leader to know what you're providing and to help guide your people to what is the resources that they need. Do they need coaching? Do they need mentoring? Do they need sponsorship? And also have clarity on yourself in terms of what you're providing and also what you may need in your own career growth. And I've heard multiple definitions of these 3 things. And we're going to talk about those today and exchange definitions as well. And so for me, coaching is about providing tools and techniques. It's about mapping out the plays and how do you use the tools and techniques to execute plays. As close to a sports metaphor as I'm going to get. Mentoring, I think, is different. Mentoring is about someone who's further along in their journey that is able to provide you perspective on how you may want to shape your journey. This is someone who has more maturity or more experience or more education in a space. And they aren't necessarily providing you tools and techniques, but they are helping you explore and providing you guidance on how you want to move your ball down the field. And I know I said that was my last first metaphor, but forgive me.
Yeah.
Sponsorship is something completely different. Sponsorship is someone who's familiar with the work that you do and can represent you when you're not in the room. This is a person with access. This is a person who can speak on your behalf. This is a person who is your advocate. This is a person who are in those rooms that you aren't in so that you get opportunity to put into practice what your coach and your mentor are helping you with. It's a trifecta. And I submit you need all 3. But you need to be really clear on where you're getting those 3 from, and if you are providing, which of those 3 you are providing. And so I think it's a really important topic for leaders to dive into.
Yeah, that's good. Love that you drew the distinction and defined those 3 kind of right out of the gate for us, because that'll be important as we unpack those 3. And what they mean, both from a leadership perspective and from a team perspective.
Yes.
And it happens both professionally and personally.
Yes.
To your point, I would also submit you need all 3 in your personal life as well. And they can be the same people. I would say you need them to know the distinction between whether you need them personally or professionally as well.
Yes, very true.
But you need them in both spaces. I have had them throughout my life and career, and both have had all 3 at the same time. And so for me, there's a visual representation of those 3 things. A coach walks behind you, a mentor walks beside you, and a sponsor walks in front of you.
Oh, I love that.
So that is the way I kind of made sure I knew what I was doing when someone came to me and asked for one of those three things. And oftentimes when they ask, they don't really know which one they're asking for because it's not clear to them. Oftentimes, honestly, people are asking for sponsorship.
Yes.
And so we'll talk through that, and I will actually take them back to either mentorship or coaching. Because here's the truth. In order for the sponsor to be effective, they need to know that you've gone through coaching and mentoring, or that you're currently in that process. Because a sponsor not only is in those rooms advocating for you because they know your work, the truth is their reputation is on the line. They are putting at stake in those rooms where they have built their own reputation. To bring your name forward means people are leaning on their expertise and trusting that if you say this is the right person, they're believing that. And if you turn out to not be the right person, you've cost them. And so there is a cost to being a sponsor.
Yes. And
there's some confidence that needs to be built in order for that sponsorship to be effective. Mentoring, as a professional coach, I mentor people as a leader. So other leaders, I can mentor them because in many situations that they are going through, I've been there, to a certain level, and I can mentor them and say, okay, I know exactly where you are. Here's the things you need to consider. Here's how you need to stay curious. Here are the questions you need to ask. Here's how you need to get to where you're going. If someone comes to me, I'm a former leader, they're a leader, but they're at a higher level, then I turn to a coach because I don't have that same experience, but I can coach you because I know the right questions to ask. I know how to keep you curious. I know how to open your mindset up to different perspectives that you need to consider. So while I may not have been the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, which means I can't mentor a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but I can coach a CEO of a Fortune 500 company because my job is not to tell them what to do.
Right.
My job as a coach is to, my belief as a coach is that they have an answer already. My job is to clear the noise and to get them clarity so that they can discover what I believe they already, in most cases, know, some parts of that. And so my job as a coach is to ask them questions, to keep them curious, and to give them different perspectives so that they come up with an answer for themselves. And as a coach, I stay away from advice. Because advice is just my way of telling them what I believe they should do if I were them.
Right.
And that is a terrible way to coach. And so those are the ways that I distinguish between the three.
I love that visual representation because it makes it very simple. My experience in my career of really good coaches, and I've had some not so great ones. On the not so great side has been coaches that have, I think, overly sympathized with the situations that I was finding myself in and allowed me to escape responsibility.
Yes.
Because of the situation that they were overly familiar with. Some of the great coaches that I've had take the role of coach seriously and are explicit about outcomes.
Yes.
And really take to heart it's a service. You are in service of and making sure that that person, when they're on the field, are able to play their best game. And so I think that, like for me, those coaches are really special. And because it takes a special person to be able to do that. I know for myself as a leader, I spend a lot of time coaching my team. I have to be clear. Am I coach in this situation or am I mentor in this situation? because I am typically, not all the time, but typically further along the journey than my team in a lot of cases. And so I can play both roles, right? I can be coach and sit behind them, and I can also play mentor and be right there beside them. I have learned that I need to be explicit about that. Which conversation are we having? Which hat do I have on? Because what I've learned is if you flip between the two, especially in the same conversation, your team ends up confused.
Yes.
And they're not sure whether it's like, oh, can I move? Am I moving? Am I not moving? Do I need permission? It creates a level of uncertainty in terms of what to do with the information you've given them.
Yes.
Because you're going to give them information, and as a coach, they'll know what to do with it. And as a mentor, they'll know what to do with it. But if you're playing coach-mentor, they're not quite sure what to do with it.
Yes.
And so I think it's really important that happens. And one of the situations where this played out and where I learned this lesson is I'm still a pretty darn good developer. And I can still develop, and I can still write code with my team. If I was playing the role of coach in terms of coaching them and how to write better code, and I've done that to say, okay, here's why this particular construct doesn't work, or here's how you could have done this better. That is really well accepted if they see me as coach. It's completely rejected and can destroy their confidence if I'm seen as their mentor, because then they walk away feeling like they failed versus feeling like they're supported.
Yes.
That was a really hard lesson for me to learn, to go, oh, my intention was coach, but because I wasn't clear about it, they saw me as like, oh, clearly I have failed, versus this was me giving you support so that you didn't fail.
Yes.
I was attempting to support you so we would be successful, and they walked away feeling like they failed.
Yes.
It's really important to keep that distinction. And on the sponsorship front, it's really important, if you're going to say yes to that question, to your point, that you are familiar with their work and you're willing to put your name to underwrite it.
Yes.
So don't say yes. If you're not willing to do that, don't say yes.
Yes.
But you also have to sort through, are they saying coach or are they saying mentor and they really want sponsorship?
Yes.
Because I would say my experience is about, 70% of the folks who have come to me asking for coaching or mentoring are really looking for sponsorship.
Yes.
Over half.
Yes.
And to your point, you do have to unpack it.
Yes.
Because if you say, I'll absolutely provide you coaching or mentoring, whatever it is that they're asking for, and what they're really looking for is sponsorship, then that will unravel.
Yes. There's a miscommunication there.
Yes.
That it's not going to have good results.
No, not good results at all. And you can't sponsor someone where you don't have an opportunity to observe their work.
Yes.
Well, I shouldn't say you can't. You can.
Yes.
I would advise you not to
Yes.
do that. That's one of the ways where you can have that conversation. It's like, it's hard for me to sponsor you while I have the rank to be able to, meaning I will be in those rooms, I can't represent you because I don't get to observe you doing the work that you're doing. And so it's really important that you have that ability
Yes.
to observe them in action.
Yes.
Because without that direct observation, you're risking a lot in terms of your own reputation by underwriting them.
That's right. And what you are saying as the sponsor, when you bring their names into those conversations and rooms, is that they're ready.
Yes.
Not that they're getting ready, could be ready. We will get them ready. That conversation is about they are already ready to go.
Yes.
To get you ready, that's where you need the coaching and the mentoring and the the opportunities and the experiments in different places. And so that is when you get to the level of sponsorship, when you are able to demonstrate those things and you are ready for the next level of what you're asking for. And that sponsor says, okay, yep, they're ready.
They're ready.
And I'm ready as the sponsor now to put their name out there. So that's what sponsorship is. And that's limited.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bunch of names get put out there, ready or not. That's just a small, organizations are built like a triangle.
Yes.
Right? Where individual contributors make up the bottom, widest portion of the triangle. And the higher you go up in the organization to the very top CEO is the point of the triangle. And so as you are trying to move up the ladder, the triangle's getting smaller. And so when people are asking for sponsorship, and even though they are ready, there's only so many opportunities that a sponsor can bring names to the table.
Yes.
And so you have to weigh that when you're asking for sponsorship is, it doesn't happen overnight, is my point. And so you just have to be prepared for that. Keep working. Find the right sponsor, which is another key point.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is not a good sponsor, is not a good mentor, and is not a good coach. Again, as a professional coach who coaches a lot of people, different walks of life, different parts of their journey, there are a lot of coaches out there. There are a lot of people who are certified as coaches. There are a lot of people who claim to be professional coaches. In that industry, in that field, I ask myself what distinguishes me from this vast pool of coaches that are out there. And what I would say, if you are looking for a coach, take your time in finding the right fit for you. And that means, yes, that they have the education around it, whether that be certification or academics. That's one. But don't just stop there. You want a coach that has experience. So I go back to your sports analogy, right? Yeah, every once in a while you'll get a rookie head coach or something. But in most cases, when you look at professional sports, there is a pool that keeps circulating of coaches that get hired. And they are coaches that have experience in the league. And so you want to look for a coach that has not only experience as a coach, but experience in the field or industry or have a background that will support where you're trying to go. And so take your time, find the right coach. Same thing with mentors, right? You also want to be diverse, right? So find the right coach, but find a coach or a mentor that has different perspectives, different experiences, so they can bring those different questions to you to give you a different experience. My best, whether I'm coaching or being coached, experience from a coaching perspective is when they help me peel back some of the things that I don't know are blocking my mindset, my mental stage, and where I'm at. And they help me see that I'm stuck in a certain place that I didn't really know. Because what happens to all of us as human beings is we get stuck with life. Life happens, and we cope with it.
Yes.
And through our coping is where we get stuck. And the coach, a good coach, will help you first identify where it is that you are stuck. And then they will start to help you think through how you got stuck, why you got stuck, and then what it's necessary for you to move. And it's oftentimes not large movement.
Yes.
It is small, steady movement that is where the real progression happens. And the coach, that's why you get, coaching is not a one-time thing, right? You're not gonna call me up, I start coaching you, we have one session, and then you're all good. It's kind of like therapy, right? There's a process to this. And that process is helping you really think through where you are and where it'll take to get you to the very next step. One step forward is the coach's job. And so very important that you find the right coach, that you know what it is that you're asking of them. From a leadership perspective, know the difference between coaching and providing direction.
Yes. Yes.
There is a distinction between the two, and you need to carve out time for coaching. I can give you direction in the moment, and we can keep moving. If it's coaching, I need to carve that time out specifically for coaching, and we need to sit down, because again, it's a process.
Yes.
And so I would just say, as a leader, know the distinction between providing direction and providing coaching.
I love how you walk through those distinctions, and what's playing back for me is like, who has been a really good coach for me, who's been a good mentor for me, and who's been a good sponsor for me. Probably one of the greatest coaches that I've had from a peer perspective was Renee Lauer. She was coaching continuous improvement, Lean Six Sigma, and I walked in thinking, I don't need to be coached.
Yes.
I got this.
Right.
Renee gave me some of the best feedback. Because although I did, quote unquote, have it, I understood it, she gave me some coaching, which is around how I was delivering it. And she said very bluntly, working for you must suck. Now we're peers.
Yes.
We're peers and we're directors, and she said, working for you must suck. And I was like, oh, people tend to like working for me. At least I thought so. And she said, because you're so strategic, because you're so far ahead, you're 5 miles down the road, and most of your team is probably just taking their step off the curb. And so that's got to be really hard for them, just, to keep up with you. So that's got to be really hard. Because she gave it so bluntly, it took me back. And I was like, She said, your challenge isn't in knowing this stuff or putting together the strategy and plan. Your challenge will be connecting it with your team so that they can make it real. It was so incredibly valuable. It was so incredibly valuable. And so not what I wanted to hear at that moment in time. It was so not what I wanted to hear. But it was exactly what I needed to hear. And so it was a really good coaching experience. On the mentoring front, one of the best mentors I had was J.T. Tompkins. He was Senior Vice President and General Auditor at the time. We'd been talking, and he'd been providing his perspective about what it takes to ascend in corporate America. And we got to be in a meeting together, and he got to see me. There we go. I'm like, that's substantive verb, didn't hear it. He got to see me in an action in a meeting. And after the meeting, again, very bluntly, he said, you're going to have to put your big boy pants on. Because in order to grow, and in order to ascend, you're going to have to deal with people who behave like they did in that meeting. And it can't cause you to shrink away. Because there are times when you have to lead your leaders. The difference between those two is the coaching that I received from Renee helped me execute the job of today. What did I need to get done today? JT, that mentoring was about how do I make sure that I continue to be successful in the growth and the trajectory of my career.
That's good.
Which is so incredibly valuable. Sponsorship, tricky.
Yes.
Because you're not in the room, you don't really know what is said.
Right.
But I will say, probably the best bit of coaching about sponsorship that I received, I got from Steve Ambrose, who said, because I was a manager at the time, trying to reach my directorship, and he said to me, directors don't make directors.
Yes.
VPs make directors. And it took me a moment to absorb what he was saying. I was like, oh, and I got it. I was spending a lot of my time as a manager working to show what I could do to directors, when the reality is the directors aren't in the room when the next directors are chosen.
Right.
It is the VPs that are in the room when the next directors are chosen.
Yes.
To your point around picking the right sponsor, and it was a hard lesson for me to learn, but I'm so glad that I learned it, which is your sponsors have to be in the room. And so you have to think about who's actually in the room. And it is not your next level. It's 2 levels and 3 levels above you.
Yes.
These are the things that, one, I wish I'd learned much sooner than I learned them, but they're so important. Because you could spend a lot of time seeking sponsorship from people who won't be in the room when they're talking about you.
Yes.
That is another thing that I give people when they come to me for sponsorship. Once I understand that is what they're actually looking for, I will not be in that room.
Right.
When they're having the conversation about the position that you want, I won't be in that room.
Right.
Now, there are times when I would be in that room, like, okay, well then let's have a conversation. But if you're trying to get to A, you gotta have the sponsors that are going to be in the room when A is discussed.
Yes. The last thing I add, as we're at time, is influence. The question I'm asking of a sponsor is, do they have the right level of influence? Not just the title.
Yes.
So while you need 2-3 levels up, not everybody at that level has the same level of influence.
Yes.
And so even if your sponsor is in the room, but they don't have the right influence, even if they bring your name up, it won't go very far because they don't have the influence. So again, picking the right sponsor means taking time to figure out what you want and who can give it to you.
Yes.
And that includes, do they have the right level of influence at the level or title that they are? Just add that to making sure you get the right sponsor.
Awesome. Well, that's our time. We spent this episode talking about the differences between coaching, mentoring, and sponsorship. Dan provided a fantastic visual, which is the coach stands behind you, the mentor stands beside you, and the sponsor stands in front of you. And I think that's a great summary for how to think about it. We also talked about what those 3 things look like when they're done well, and touched on when they're done not so well, and how do you make sure that you're getting what you need and providing to your teams what they need across those 3 dimensions. And it was a great discussion, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to Leadership Unfiltered. We hope you have found value in our conversation and are ready to take action in your leadership journey. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, share, and leave us a review. And don't forget to connect with us on social media for more leadership insights and resources. Until next time, keep leading with purpose.